Discover the heartwarming moment a poor girl's unexpected kindness changed her life forever at 70. In the heart of a small Midwestern town, where snowflakes danced like fairies in the winter sun, 70-year-old Emma Sullivan stirred her bubbling stew in the kitchen. The aroma of savory herbs and spices filled her humble home, reminding her of the many meals she had shared with neighbors and veterans over the years. Each challenge in her life had been met with resilience learned from her hard-working single mother. Now, as she settled into her golden years, Emma found solace and purpose in feeding others, supporting her community just as her mother had taught her. One frigid morning, wrapped in her wool scarf, Emma looked out the window and caught a glimpse of young Lily sitting alone on the playground across the street. The girl new to town, with a hesitant smile and different clothes, was surrounded by giggles that cut through the winter air like ice shards. Emma's heart tightened as she watched Lily being pushed away, the laughter of her classmates ringing hollow amid the twinkling snow. "Why can't they understand?" Emma whispered, a fire igniting within her. Memories flashed through her mind of her own childhood isolation, echoing with the pang of wanting to belong. That evening, with her kitchen bustling and warm, Emma prepared a generous portion of her famous chili. She wrapped it in a cheerful red cloth, her heart beating with intent as she walked to Lily's home, which stood just down the street. When the door opened, and the timid girl peeked through, the two worlds of loneliness collided. The meal was just the beginning. Emma shared stories of her own struggles as a child, of standing up to bullies, of finding light in dark times. Each tale sparked a connection, bringing a sparkle to Lily's eyes that warmth could only kindle. As days turned into weeks, their bond blossomed. Emma's kitchen became a refuge for Lily, a place bursting with laughter, heartwarming tales, and nurturing meals. Yet, suspicion brewed beneath the surface. At home, Emma's family worried about the financial strain her kindness might impose, questioning her motives. "Emma, this isn't our fight," they argued, their concerns filling the air like an unwelcome chill. "Why help someone who can't help themselves?" Their words cut deep. Emma knew the heart of Lily's struggle echoed her own. "Before we continue, I need to let you know about something important that's happening. YouTube has been making changes to the system and many people are losing notifications from channels they follow. If you're enjoying the content, hit that bell and mark all notifications so you don't miss the next videos. And if you can drop a like, it really helps me with reach. Seriously, it makes a difference. Oh, let me know in the comments where you're watching from. I'm always curious to know who's on the other side of the screen. Now let's continue, but as the winter withered on, a community festival approached, a chance to bridge divides and celebrate unity. Emma saw it as a moment not just to showcase local traditions but to uplift Lily's spirit. With newfound determination, she planned a booth for them to share their story, weaving together threads of joy and resilience, where love conquered fear. Yet doubt lingered in the faces of her family, and troubling whispers echoed amongst townsfolk. Would Emma's efforts be enough to break boundaries? Would the love she poured into every meal close the chasm between her family and her newfound purpose? Emma's choices rattled the heart of the town. The clock ticked toward the festival, and with it, the uncertainty of what the outcome could mean for both her and Lily. As they stood at the edge of a life-altering revelation, it became clear, their journey was just beginning, and the true power of kindness was about to shine under the very spotlight they had created together. The day of the festival arrived with a glow that spread across the town like a warm blanket. Emma hung colorful streamers around her booth, her heart pounding with anticipation. She could already see families gathering, their laughter mixing with the sweet scent of baked goods and cotton candy wafting through the air. But Emma felt a weight on her chest. Doubt whispered to her, telling her that maybe today wouldn't go as planned. Lily stood alongside Emma, her little hands clutching tightly to a poster they had made together. "Kindness is the key." The girl's eyes sparkled, but the nervousness in her posture was hard to ignore. Emma knelt down and placed a gentle hand on Lily's shoulder. "Just be yourself," Emma encouraged her, a smile lighting up her face. "You're amazing just the way you are." As the festivities began, they watched the local children dance and play. Emma's heart ached slightly, remembering how she had felt at that age, the isolation, the longing for acceptance. "You're not alone anymore, Lily," she murmured softly as she handed the girl a piece of homemade cornbread from their booth. Then came the moment to share their story. Emma stepped up to the small makeshift stage, glaring under the bright sun as it cast a golden halo around her. She took a breath and looked out at the crowd, feeling the weight of their gazes. The murmur of voices faded into the background as she began to speak. "I grew up in a town much like this one, where kindness became my lifeline." Her voice was steady, weaving tales of hardship and triumph, struggles over the years, and how, with the help of others, she learned to lift herself and those around her. When she spoke of Lily, the room fell into a hush. Emma described their connection, their shared meals, laughter, and the change that grew from a simple act of kindness. As she spoke, she could see faces brightening, the energy around them shifting. Whispers of understanding began to spread through the crowd, and a few familiar faces from her neighborhood nodded in silent agreement. Lily stood beside her, eyes wide as she took in the warmth radiating from the people. Suddenly, a young boy stepped forward, holding a handmade card. "I want to be kind too," he declared, his voice ringing with conviction. "Can we do a kind event every month?" A ripple of excitement surged through the crowd, harmful barriers fading into a spectrum of possibility. Emma could hardly believe her ears. This was the moment. Lily, emboldened by the boy's words, spoke up next. "See, could we help each other?" she offered, feeling the support of those around her. "Because kindness matters." Each word felt like a spark, lighting flames of connection wherever they landed. The crowd erupted in applause, and Emma felt tears prickling her eyes. It was happening. Together, they were rewriting the narrative that had once bound them. In the midst of clapping and cheering, Emma felt the joy blossom within her, a joy she had shared as a mother, as a neighbor, and now as a mentor, but all the while, lurking at the edges of her heart, was a lurking fear. Would those who doubted her family finally see the ripple effect of their kindness? Emma scanned the crowd for their familiar faces, searching for a sign that they might finally understand. As the celebration continued, Emma caught sight of the festival's director approaching her. He had an air of seriousness about him, something like foreboding clouding his gaze. Emma's stomach churned. Was this what she thought it was? A moment overshadowed? Before she could gather her thoughts, he reached her with a hesitant smile and a few important words. "Emma, there is something we need to discuss about your booth." Her heart raced. What could it be? Would this be the end of their dream? Would the kindness she fought for be turned away? With a deep breath, she braced herself for whatever was coming next. Emma's breath caught in her throat as the festival director, Mr. Hawkins, looked her in the eyes. She saw a glimmer of something in his expression, a mixture of concern and admiration that had her stomach twisting further. "Your booth is making such a positive impact on the community," he began. "But there are rules we must follow." "I'm not sure how to put this gently." Her mind raced. Rules? She hadn't even considered that. Would all their hard work be for nothing? Panic surged through her, drowning out the laughter and music of the festival around them. "I need to discuss the permits," he finally continued, his voice low. "It seems we didn't have your specific approval for the baking and fundraising portion." Emma's heart sank. It felt like a punch to the gut. They had poured their love and energy into that booth, all to spread kindness. "But if we don't have all the whatever, then what happens?" she managed to stammer, clutching her hands tightly together. Mr. Hawkins looked pained. "In the worst case, we'd have to close you down for the day, and I know that's not what anyone wants. Please, I'll do what I can to help. Let's just have a chat about how we can work this out." Relief washed over her for just a second, and then, like a tide pulling back, doubt came rushing in. Would they have to pack up and walk away when it felt like the community had finally started to open its heart? Before she could respond, Lily's voice broke through, small yet fierce, like a spark igniting a flame. "But we're helping people. We made new friends today. Isn't that what matters?" The crowd paused as her words hit home. Emma felt a warmth swell in her chest as heads turned toward Lily, surprised by the girl's courage. Echoes of agreement rippled through the people gathered, a unified heartbeat that thrummed in the air. "Kids, help us out here!" Emma exclaimed, her voice carrying an urgency that made hearts quicken. A few children nearby raised their hands, echoing Lily's sentiment. One little girl shouted, "We need kindness." Others jumped in, chanting, "Kindness! Kindness!" Lily beamed with pride but also a hint of worry. Emma could see the question in Lily's eyes, would this be enough? Mr. Hawkins' expression softened, and he took a step back to absorb the scene. "You've really made an impact here, Emma. But the regulations still stand." Lily stepped forward again, determination shining in her curious eyes. "Can't we have kindness and follow your rules? We can make this work." Emma felt a rush of hope as Mr. Hawkins was caught off guard. He glanced around at the swarm of children pleading with him and then at the faces of community members expressing their support. It was a moment hanging in the balance, filled with tension and possibility. As people started clapping and calling for a way to keep the booth open, Emma believed she could feel the walls of resistance begin to shake. She leaned in closer to Mr. Hawkins, deciding this was her chance. "Let's turn this into something beautiful. How about we collaborate? Fundraising with creative events that include rules." Something shifted in Mr. Hawkins' gaze. He looked thoughtful, a glimmer of a smile forming. "I appreciate your dedication. Let's sit down together to discuss how we can make this festival a beacon of kindness, complying with the guidelines while also letting your message shine." Lily clapped her hands, her little face bursting with joy. Emma's heart soared as she embraced the girl tightly. They had done it. They had turned a potential disaster into an opportunity. But there was still one lingering question hanging in the air, waiting to be discovered: what would their new mission entail? As the sun began its descent, painting the sky with vibrant colors, Emma felt a transformation blooming within her. With a newfound sense of purpose, she turned to the crowd at her booth and asked, "Who's ready to plan our next act of kindness?" The storm of excitement ensued, and in that moment, Emma knew this was only the beginning. The festival was just a stepping stone to something greater. But could they maintain this momentum? Would kindness continue to ripple out into their community? The answers waited just beyond the horizon, waiting for their next bold move. Emma's heart raced as waves of enthusiasm rolled through the crowd. Their initial worry faded, replaced by a fervor for kindness that seemed to light up the summer evening. Children danced around her, laughter spilling from their lips, each new idea igniting a flurry of chatter as ideas flew freely. "Let's do a kindness scavenger hunt," shouted one boy, eyes sparkling. "And we can make kindness cards to send to people who might need them," another piped in. Emma couldn't help but smile. Each suggestion fueled her own vision. This could be the start of something beautiful, but then a sinking feeling tugged at her. "Wait," she said, raising her hands to quiet the chatter. "We need to make sure whatever we plan fits with Mr. Hawkins' rules. He's trying to help us." Emma looked over to Mr. Hawkins, whose expression had shifted as he listened to the children. Mr. Hawkins nodded, a spark of appreciation in his eyes. "I think you all have something special here," he said, his voice firm yet warm. "Together, we can make this festival reflect the kindness you're trying to spread." Lily squeezed Emma's hand tighter as they exchanged glances brimming with hope. "So, what do we do first?" she asked, her little voice tinged with excitement. "That's the beauty of it," Emma exclaimed. "The first step is to get organized. We'll need a team and a plan." She scanned the eager faces, filled with anticipation, and her heart swelled. "Let's gather ideas, and then we can brainstorm creative activities that follow the regulations." Ideas bounced around like fireflies in the night. They decided to create a kindness wall where people could write notes about how they planned to spread kindness. They also set up stations for making care packages for local shelters and organizing performances showcasing talent from community members, all while ensuring that every act adhered to the festival's rules. With a renewed sense of unity, they got to work, laughter and music surrounding them as they painted colorful signs and folded origami for their wall. Emma looked at Lily, who was deep in conversation with a group of children. There was a warmth in her chest, a blossoming hope that whispered they were creating something that would last beyond the festival. As the sun dipped lower, the sky erupted in shades of pink and orange. Emma stood back to take in the sight, children working together, the community members smiling, and the anticipation of their mission crackling in the air. It felt like the beginning of a revolution, a way to reshape their corner of the world one kind act at a time, but amid the excitement, a sense of foreboding tugged at Emma's heart. What if we can't keep this going? She whispered to herself, her mind racing with what-ifs. What if the crowd's enthusiasm faded? What if they couldn't take it beyond the festival? Fear crept in, whispering doubts that clawed at her confidence. A nervous shiver danced down her spine, but as she looked around, the sight of smiling faces filled her with a burst of determination. She couldn't let fear dictate their path. All right. She called out, raising her voice above the crowd. This is just the start. Let us be the change we want to see together. The claps and cheers that followed drowned out the doubts, as hope intertwined with purpose. But just as the energy reached a powerful peak, Emma spotted Mr. Hawkins standing at the edge of the bustling activity. He seemed hesitant, his brows furrowed with a new concern. What could possibly be wrong now? Curiosity gnawed at her. As she made her way toward him, she couldn't shake the sense that there was more to this collaboration than she'd imagined. Mr. Hawkins? She began, pausing as his gaze shifted from the crowd to her. Is everything okay? In the depths of his eyes, she sensed a storm brewing, a revelation that might change everything. What could it possibly be? Would it help solidify their plans or bring new challenges to their mission? The weight of uncertainty loomed as Emma waited for his response, holding her breath. Mr. Hawkins took a deep breath, as if resting with something heavy lodged in his chest. He glanced over his shoulder at the vibrant chaos of children and community members creating a display of kindness. The sounds of laughter and excitement were everywhere, yet he seemed suspended in a different reality, a moment caught between hope and worry. Emma, he began, his voice softer now, I'm thrilled to see all this enthusiasm. You and the kids have done remarkable work, but he hesitated, searching for the right words. But there are rules about what we can and cannot do during the festival. Some of what you want to achieve might be running into trouble. A frisson of fear spiked through Emma. What do you mean? Are we doing something wrong? Panic fluttered in her stomach. The thought of disappointing the children was unbearable. No, Mr. Hawkins rushed to reassure her. It's not what you're doing, it's more about how we present it. Some of the activities might not align with the town's regulations. For example, the care packages could pose challenges with permits. His voice trailed off. Emma blinked, absorbing his words. The spark of their plans felt like it could extinguish at any moment. Then a sudden realization hit her. But what if we find a way to work within those rules? She said, adrenaline coursing through her veins. What if we adjust the activities instead of canceling them? A flicker of surprise lit up Mr. Hawkins' face. That's a great idea, Emma. But it will require some effort, and we have to act quickly. The festival is in just a week. Then we have to get started right away. She declared, a fresh wave of determination surging through her. She glanced back at the bustling crowd, bright smiles and engaged faces giving her the confidence she needed. If we can brainstorm some changes and get Mr. Wilkins' approval, we can still make this happen. Lily, now standing next to her, squeezed Emma's arm. Can I help? Absolutely. Emma grinned. And so can everyone else. She turned back to the throng of children, her voice booming. All right, team. We're making our plans even better. It's time to adjust our activities to fit within all the festival rules. Who's with me? Cheers erupted, and the children rallied around her, each eager to contribute. Ideas flourished like wildflowers. They considered moving the kindness wall into a gallery format, allowing families to display inspiring stories without breaching any rules. The scavenger hunt would turn into a race to collect positive messages posted around town, encouraging everyone to participate. As they mapped out various changes, Emma felt a spark deep inside her, a sense of rallying strength, a community coming together not just for a fleeting festival but to foster a lasting change. Yet, somewhere behind that warmth lurked a quiet unease. What if these adjustments don't sway Mr. Wilkins? It shadowed her thoughts, refusing to fade entirely. Suddenly, Mr. Hawkins' serious expression returned, bringing with it a wave of tension. "Emma, I want to be clear," he said, catching her attention. "I have my concerns about what will happen if we push too hard against the rules. The town has been strict, and there's been talk that things might not go as smoothly as they seem." Emma felt the pit in her stomach drop. "What do you mean by talk?" As Mr. Hawkins unlocked the door to his concerns, Emma felt the hope she'd been building melting into worry. What were they really up against? With the festival drawing closer and seemingly greater hurdles emerging, Emma stood at a crossroads, feeling the weight of the future pressing down. How would they rise to the challenge? And as if in answer, a thunderstorm rolled in on the horizon, dark clouds swirling, promising change. But was it the change she hoped for, or anything but? Emma stood at the edge of the gathering, her heart racing. The fabric of excitement around her was palpable, but the weight of Mr. Hawkins' words lingered like a dense fog. The joyful laughter of children melted into the background as her thoughts spiraled through the possibilities of disappointment and failure. "Hey, Emma!" Lily's voice broke through her reverie. "Look!" She pointed to a group of kids, animatedly discussing the scavenger hunt they were going to organize. Their faces glowed with enthusiasm. Something inside Emma stirred at the sight. It was a reminder of why they were doing this. "Okay, let us get focused." Emma clapped her hands together, rallying the children around her. "Lily, can you help gather everyone's ideas? We need to be creative about these changes." The kids sprang into action, their excitement contagious. As they huddled together, brainstorming ideas, Emma's mind flitted back to Mr. Hawkins' warning. She couldn't shake the feeling that shadows were gathering, not just in the sky, but in their plans. "Maybe we can have a kindness race," piped up one of the boys, his eyes wide with enthusiasm. "Like a relay where each part helps someone in town." "Great idea." Emma felt her spirits lift, even if just for a moment. "And what if we make signs with messages of hope that we can hang up around town? It could be our way of spreading joy." Excited chatter mixed with brainstorming filled the air. They were all on fire with ideas, but behind that spark, Emma still wrestled with doubt. They needed Mr. Wilkins' approval, and her gut told her it wouldn't be easy to convince him. As the children scribbled their thoughts down, Emma suddenly remembered the stories her grandmother told her while baking in their tiny kitchen. Stories of overcoming obstacles through resilience and community. She inhaled deeply, gathering courage. They had something worth fighting for, and she wouldn't let fear take that away. Lily grabbed Emma's arm and said, "Can you believe how many ideas we have? It's going to be amazing." Her eyes glimmered with unyielding hope. Emma smiled, but uncertainty crept back in. "I just hope it's enough." Her voice was barely a whisper, filled with apprehension. "Let us focus on what we can do now," Lily replied confidently. "If we all work together, we can make sure everyone in town knows how special this festival is." Her words resonated with Emma, igniting a flicker of determination. "You're right. We need to be brave. Together, we can make this work." The children cheered louder, their laughter slicing through the tension and ringing with the promise of something special. Then the wind picked up, sending a flurry of leaves dancing across the ground. The stormy clouds loomed closer, darkening the sun. Emma felt the atmosphere shift, but she couldn't dwell on the ominous signs. "Let us finish our plan and get ready to present it to Mr. Wilkins tonight. We can show him that this isn't just a festival, but a movement of kindness." As they wrapped up their meeting, Emma's heart raced with mixed emotions: excitement, elation, and an undercurrent of fear. But deep down, she knew something had shifted. They weren't just participating in a festival, they were igniting a spark that could change their community for good. Yet as Emma turned to leave, she glanced up at the darkening sky, her thoughts racing. What would happen if Mr. Wilkins said no? Could they weather that kind of storm? With those heavy questions hanging in the air, the first drops of rain began to fall. Would they be able to withstand even the tumult of nature itself? The rain poured down, washing over the ground like the doubts swirling in Emma's mind. She felt a bead of water slide down her neck, a stark reminder of the storm clouding their future. The children squealed and scurried for cover, their laughter fading into a scattered echo. "Emma! Come on!" Lily beckoned, her eyes flickering with excitement despite the downpour. "We need to show Mr. Wilkins our ideas." Taking a deep breath, Emma followed Lily, her heart thumping loudly in her chest. The two of them ducked under the old oak tree, its branches bending like a protective shield against the rain. The air was filled with the smell of wet earth, grounding Emma amid her swirling emotions. Gathering the kids back together, Emma spread a blanket over the damp grass, transforming it into their makeshift presentation space. "Let's go over everything one more time," she said, feeling the weight of responsibility. "Lily, you start." Lily stood up confidently, her voice ringing out. "We want to organize a kindness race. Each group will help someone in town, like bringing groceries to our elderly neighbors or cleaning up the park." "Love it," Emma said, a smile breaking through her anxiety. The kids joined in, each pitching their perfect ideas, their voices mixing into a delightful symphony of purpose and enthusiasm. "Don't forget about the signs," one girl shouted excitedly. "They'll have messages like 'You are loved' and 'Spread smiles.'" Emma's heart swelled. Every idea was a reminder that the children believed in something bigger than just a festival. They believed in their community. As the rain eased, Emma glanced at the dark clouds lingering in the distance. What if Mr. Wilkins doesn't see it that way? What if we can't convince him? Then we'll show him. Lily replied fiercely. "We love this town. We'll prove it." Emma felt warmth ripple through her. Confidence, born from teamwork and shared dreams, began to replace her worries, but just as Emma gripped the edge of hope, a figure emerged from the misty rain. Mr. Wilkins, shielded by his umbrella, paused at the edge of their makeshift space. Emma's stomach dropped. He looked solemn, the shadows casting uncertainty across his features. "Good evening, children." His voice boomed through the patter of raindrops. "I see you've gathered quite the brainstorming session. May I join?" Emma's heart raced, mixing fear and excitement in an unsteady dance. Yes, of course." She stepped forward, urging the others to follow her lead, but as Mr. Wilkins lowered his umbrella, their eyes met. In his gaze, Emma caught a flicker of interest, and just underneath it, doubt. "What's all this about a kindness race?" he asked. Emma took a deep breath, feeling the resolve wash over her. This was it. This was their chance to connect with him, to let their passion and ideas shine against the gloomy backdrop. "Mr. Wilkins," she said, her voice steady despite the pounding in her chest, "we want to create something that unites our community, something that spreads kindness and joy during the festival. It's not just a celebration, it's about inspiring everyone in town to be a part of something bigger." Lily stepped beside her, determination etched on her face. "If we all work together, we can make our town brighter, especially now." Emma could see Mr. Wilkins processing their words. She held her breath. What would he say? Would he recognize their efforts, their passion? The world around them came to a halt, and in that moment, a question hung heavy in the air: could their simple ideas break through the wall of his skepticism? As the tension swelled, Emma prepared herself for whatever Mr. Wilkins might respond. But just then, a fierce wind picked up, sending the paper notes fluttering from their blanket in a wild dance through the air. Would their hopes fly away with them? The papers spiraled up into the dark sky, an uncontrollable whirlwind of hope and creativity. Emma's breath hitched. She sprinted after them, even as the rain began to fall steadily again. Mr. Wilkins' eyes widened as he stepped forward, his umbrella bouncing slightly above his head while they all scrambled in a flurry to catch the notes before they disappeared completely. "Wait! I'll help!" he called out, surprising everyone, even himself. His serious demeanor cracked for just a moment, and the kids darted after the scattered pages with giggles and shouts. Lily caught one in her tiny hands and beamed. "This one says, 'You are loved.' See? That's the spirit we need," Emma said, feeling lightness in her chest as Mr. Wilkins bent down to grab another. The expression on his face shifted, as if the children's energy was contagious. As they gathered the last of the notes, the rain softened into a gentle mist. Emma stood straight and approached Mr. Wilkins with resolve. This was their moment. "We really want to show everyone that kindness can make a difference," she said. He studied her, the hint of a smile breaking slowly across his face. "And you think this kindness race is the way to do that?" His tone was still cautious, but she sensed a crack in his skepticism. Lily nodded fervently. "Yes. Everyone can get involved, Mr. Wilkins. Imagine how many people we could help. We just need your support. You are our town leader. We believe in you to help us lead this." For a second, silence hung in the air as Mr. Wilkins processed their enthusiasm. He scratched his chin, glancing at the kids bustling around him with their wet hair and soaked clothes, their spirits still soaring. "All right, let us hear this grand plan then. What else have you got in mind?" A genuine grin stretched across his face, and Emma felt a rush of relief and joy. As Lily and the others burst into a flurry of excitement, throwing ideas back and forth, Emma couldn't help but feel her heart swell. It didn't just feel like a presentation anymore, it felt like a bridge being built, a bridge that connected the giggles of young children with the typically serious Mr. Wilkins. But before they could dive deeper, a rumble of thunder cracked over the trees, reminding everyone of the storm still looming above. The kids squealed again, not out of fear, but excitement, as Emma turned to Mr. Wilkins. "We can meet again tomorrow. Maybe we can figure out all the details together." "Yes. Of course," he said, his voice robust. "Let us make this town come alive with kindness." As they wrapped up their gathering, Emma's heart raced, a mix of disbelief and hope darting through her. Had they really broken through? The wind seemed kinder now, the rain not as heavy, as laughter filled the air. But just as everyone turned to head home, Lily took Emma's arm gently. "What if, after all this, Mr. Wilkins decides it's not enough? What if he doesn't believe us?" Emma felt a twinge of that familiar anxiety creeping back in. "Then we have to show him we can make the difference we believe in," she said, forcing a smile to hide her uncertainty. As the children skipped away, she lingered a moment longer, staring at the direction where Mr. Wilkins had just walked. Was this just the calm before another storm? As she headed home, a sliver of doubt wormed its way back into Emma's mind. What if the kindness race was a dream too big for their town? The weight of unanswered questions rested heavily on her shoulders. What challenges awaited them at the next meeting? What if this gentle shift in Mr. Wilkins' attitude was only a fleeting moment? Would their dreams soar or shatter? The following morning greeted Emma with a flash of sunlight breaking through the remnants of rain. She awoke with a mix of excitement and apprehension swirling inside her. Today was more than just another day, it was a chance for something to be born from their bubbling hope. As she prepared for school, she replayed the events of yesterday in her mind. Mr. Wilkins had seemed genuinely interested. But what if he changed his mind? What if doubt gnawed at him like it had done to her the night before? At school, the hallways buzzed with chatter. Emma joined her friends at their usual lunch table, her heart a little lighter. "Did you all think about what to say to Mr. Wilkins today?" she asked, trying to spark enthusiasm. Lily bounced on her seat. "Yes. I was thinking we could present him with a list of ideas. Like a kindness map, where everyone can see how far kindness can spread." "Yes," Emma exclaimed, the idea igniting a fire in her. "And we can ask everyone in town to write down their own acts of kindness." The other kids chimed in, their faces glowing with excitement. Yet, in the back of her mind, Emma felt a whisper of doubt. They needed Mr. Wilkins to be on board, truly on board, for this to work. Classes went by in a blur, each tick of the clock echoing in her chest. As the final bell rang, her heart thumped louder. The group hurried to the community center, a brick building that often felt as heavy as the clouds that had just cleared. Waiting inside, they crowded around a table, practically buzzing with energy. Moments later, Mr. Wilkins arrived, his serious expression softened by the light creeping in through the windows. "All right, kids," he said, "I'm here. Let us see what you've got." Emma swallowed hard. "We thought," she began, her hands clasped together tightly. "We thought we could create a kindness map for the whole town. It will be a way for everyone to share their acts of kindness and see how they can inspire others to join." Mr. Wilkins raised an eyebrow, his interest piqued. "And how would it work?" With a rush of confidence, Emma continued, "Each person could write down their act, and then we can pin it on a board outside. The more kindness we show, the bigger the map gets. It will be a visual for everyone to see the impact they are making. A shared experience." Mr. Wilkins nodded, glancing from one child to another as their eager faces shone like lanterns. "That could certainly gather attention. If it's well organized and thought out," he paused, "I believe it can work. But you'll need to take responsibility for this project." The gravity of his words hit Emma hard. Responsibility? Could she really lead this? But the glimmer of hope in his eyes was contagious. "We will." Lily piped up, determination etched on her face. "We promise to make it happen." As they excitedly discussed the blueprint of their plan, Emma felt a tidal wave of emotions: anticipation, hope, and even fear. She never expected such a burden of responsibility, but the thought of failing them was unbearable. After the initial excitement dwindled, Emma pulled Mr. Wilkins aside. "What if it doesn't work?" she asked, her voice wavering. "What if people don't participate?" He smiled gently. "Emma, every great movement begins with a handful of brave souls willing to try. You kids have that spark. Just remember, it's about the effort and the kindness you spread, not just the outcome." His words calmed the storm inside her, but just as she felt reassured, another thought crept in: what if Mr. Wilkins was right? Would they have the courage to follow through? As she rejoined her friends, a new weight settled in her heart. This was no longer just about kindness, it was about what they were willing to fight for. Would they stand united through the challenges ahead? The seeds of aspiration had been planted, but would they take root, or would fear hold them back? Only time would tell. As the sun rose on the final day of the festival, the whole town felt like it was holding its breath. Emma stood at the edge of her booth, glancing around at the bustling crowd. Excitement bubbled in the air, but nerves twisted in her stomach. Today was the culmination of their efforts, and she desperately wanted it to go well. Lily stood beside her, bouncing on her toes, her smile brighter than the summer sun. "It's going to be amazing, right?" she said, her voice full of hope. "Everyone is coming to see what we've done." Emma couldn't help but return the smile. "Yes, it will be. We've worked hard for this moment." But she couldn't shake the uncertainty lingering like a shadow at the back of her mind. As people began to gather around their booth, Emma met Mr. Wilkins' gaze. He was hovering near the entrance of the festival area, looking as serious as ever, but she could see a spark in his eyes. That spark gave her a boost. If he was willing to give them a chance, so could she. When the festival officially kicked off, one by one, people approached the booth, drawn to the colorful kindness map they had created. Emma watched as families pinned their acts of kindness, their entries sparkling with pride. "I helped clean the park. I paid for a stranger's coffee." Each contribution felt like a thread weaving a robust tapestry of community spirit. Lily shouted, "Look, Emma! It's growing!" The kids cheered as more people added their names, each entry a testament to connection and support blossoming around them. Then, from the crowd, Mr. Hawkins stepped up, and Emma's heart began to race. She braced herself, expecting scrutiny. But instead, he smiled brightly, a radiant contrast to the stoic demeanor she was so used to. "I've heard so much about the incredible work you all have done. It's inspiring to see everyone come together like this." Emma felt the tension melt away. "Thank you, Mr. Wilkins. This means so much to us all." The afternoon unfolded seamlessly with activities planned. Rainbows of laughter filled the air. Emma noticed people engaging, families connecting, and children beaming with pride. It was a celebration of community beyond anything she had imagined. As the day wore on, a notable transformation occurred. People who once whispered doubt stood in front of the booth, sharing stories of kindness and experiences that made them feel alive. Emma's heart soared. Just as the sun began to set, casting golden hues across the gathering, Emma took to the far end of the booth, looking out at the sea of smiling faces. Suddenly, a hush fell over the crowd as Mr. Wilkins stepped onto the makeshift stage, ready to speak. "Today marks not just a moment, but a commitment," he declared, words echoing through the evening air. "What we're witnessing here is the spirit of kindness alive and well in our community. This festival is proof of what happens when we choose to lift each other up." Cheers erupted all around, and Emma felt tears prickling her eyes. She glanced at Lily, who clasped her hands together in pure joy. "What started as an idea has transformed into a movement," Mr. Wilkins continued. "We will carry this kindness beyond today. Each of you holds the power to continue spreading this message throughout our town. I propose a monthly kindness day. A day where we can all come together, just like today." The crowd roared in enthusiasm, and Emma's heart swelled with pride. Children bounced with excitement, joy radiating through every corner of the event. She grasped Lily's hand tightly and whispered, "This is what we wished for." And as the festivities drew to a close, Emma's family, who had watched her journey with skepticism, now stood among them, their expressions transformed as they applauded the initiative. With the warmth of hope surrounding her, Emma felt the whispers of doubt fading into a melody of acceptance. With the final firework lighting up the sky, Emma knew something beautiful was unfolding, not just for her and Lily but for everyone in town. Today was a testament to resilience, unity, and the profound joy that comes from kindness, gathered. There, Emma felt at the heartbeat of their community, vibrant and alive, embracing the very essence of what they had all just created together, and she realized, in this moment, that kindness wasn't just a fleeting idea to be celebrated. It was a way of life, ready to echo from this day forward. This is the moment to show your support by subscribing immediately to our channel so you won't miss the next exclusive stories. If you loved this, leave a like now to feed the algorithm. Your support means everything. Comment below to share your reactions and feelings about this heartwarming ending. And don't wait not even one more second. Share this video with at least 5 friends who need to see this transformation. Only true fans understand the importance of supporting the channel in these ways.